Alright, so what we're looking at today is the user authentication. So we have a login form here with email and password, and what we can do is we can register the user. So we register the user, so let's add a new user. Right, and once we press register, an email should be sent to our MailChimp account welcoming us. So let's look for that. So our email say welcome James to the platform. So we sign up the user as James. You can see the email here, gordon@email.com. Alright, so we know we can register our user, and once our user has been registered, now we can log in that user. Press login and the user should be logged in. Alright, so this is the user profile. Now what we can do as well is we can change the password. So we go to change the password. First we need to enter the old password, and then we add our new password. If our old password is not correct, we should get an error, and we're not getting an error. But most likely password isn't changed, right? Alright, so we see password updated. So our password has been updated. Therefore, it wasn't updated because the old password wasn't correct. Alright, so we can log out the user now, and let's try to go to profile without being logged in. And once we try to go to the profile, we get redirected, and that's because we are redirecting the user if the user isn't logged in. Alright, so we could also say forget password. So if we forget a password, we just have to add in the address of the password, the email address of the password that we forgot. So we say reset my password, and that should send an email, and we should see what it looks like. So now we have an email, and it says, "Dear James, to change your password, go to the link here." So we can go to this link to begin our reset. Right, so my the link is not going to the full thing, samples, right? Alright, so now it's telling us to reset our password, so we put in a new password. So password successfully reset, and now we can log in using the new password that we just used. Alright, so we are good to go. So now let's look at the back end of this to see what's going on. So our login file, we include user authentication function, and this is where mostly all of the work is being done. So let's look at that. So in user authentication functions, let's look at some of the functions we have. So we have PHP mailer, that's for sending emails. We include those. Get connection, you know what that is. Save user, so you can save the user. Here you need to pass in the username, the email, the password, and the repeat password. Right? You need to confirm using password hash, which is the PHP function, and then we insert in it. Alright, so this is fine. Now logging in the user, what we do is we check, we say select start from users where email is equal to the email we pass in, and limit 1. So we should only get one email, and we say if no users found, we throw error. Otherwise, if we found users and we call password verify, then we call the function start a session, and then we set some session values, username and user ID. Another function called get user data, that's anytime we want to use the data. Then we have another function called get user by email. Then we have another one called get user by code, and this is especially for the verification. Then we could update the password, save the user verification code, that's, you know, to save a new verification code. Reset password by code. Alright, so is user logged in? So this is where we actually check it to see if the user logged in. I'm checking to see if we have any session variables, username and user ID. If we have them, return true, otherwise we return false. and this is the auth function. So if the user is not logged in, we relocate. The correct word is redirect. We redirect to login.php. This is getting the current user ID. This is getting a random code, especially for verification. That comes in handy. This is start a session. This is just to deal with the fact that if you call session start after it has been started, you'll get an error. So this checks to make sure whether or not a session has been started. Alright, so send register email. So this is where we send our email, send email verification. And this is the actual send mail function. So this is pretty cool. Alright, so our user authentication function have most of the things we need, and then we just use them in our different files. And we have a lot of files. We have login, we have profile, a good few, but you'll see it when I post them to the GitHub repo. Alright, so that is our project.